Hello boys and girls, it's so lovely to have you with me today. I'm picturing you all on the other side of the screen and I wish that we were together. But anyway, I think we can really thank God for technology, hey, for the ability to still talk to each other and see each other over this internet and these things that I've used to film. We've got a camera watching me and I'm learning to talk into the camera and picture you on the other side, and a computer to put this video on. And sure, I think that God is very kind to us, that if we were going to have a pandemic where we all had to stay at home, that He's chosen a time where we actually have pretty good internet going in our country. And there are lots of people who do have access to learn online, like our school, which I think is really worth being grateful for. But I know there are lots of children around the country who don't have such a privilege of online media, and so we think of them and we pray for them that when they do go back to school that they'll be able to catch up beautifully as well. And in the meantime, we are grateful for what God has given us. And I hope that you've enjoyed your writing project this week. The grade 1s and 2s have been writing all about lockdown, having a bit of a relaxing week, just trying to process the last month. Do you know, the whole of April you've been at home being taught by mom or dad or brother or sister, and I've been missing you, and it's been a whole month. So we took this time to just think through what has been hard for us, what are the things that we could be grateful for. And so the art this week is also just a reflection on this lockdown time. And we have done some lockdown memorabilia. It's like a souvenir. You know, when you go to a new country or you go visit somebody, you get a souvenir to remember the time. So I thought, well, let's make one to remember this weird, strange time that we're going to tell our children about one day. You're going to have your grandchildren around your knees saying, when you were young, did the whole world really have to stay inside for a whole month or longer? What was that like? Then you're going to tell them all about how it's been. So what a strange time to be alive. Let's make some art to remember this time. I've got some ideas for you. The first idea looks like this. And basically what you do is you take everyone that's been in your household, that's been in lockdown with you, and you trace their handprint on a colored piece of paper. Then you cut it out and you stick it down on another piece of paper. And then write Lockdown 2020 on it. And you can frame it or you can just stick it on your fridge to remember this special, strange, weird time in our lives that God has been faithful to us through. If you've got a special verse that has been special to you, you can also write it on the bottom. Maybe the grade 1s and 2s, they've been learning Proverbs 3 verse 5 and 6. You might want to write that on here. Or you could write the word Ebenezer, which means thus far has the Lord helped us. When in the Bible, when the Israelites, when something important happened, they often put a pile of stones up to remember. And that's kind of what we're doing. We're making some art to remember a time that was really weird, but God was faithful to us. So you could write here, Ebenezer, thus far has the Lord helped us. And there's one idea. Now you can't really go around to all the shops at the moment. So if you don't have colored paper, you can just do this into your workbook and then you color in each person's hand with a different pattern. Or you can do that on white paper, cut them out, decorate them, and then stick them on plain paper. You be creative with what you've got. You could even really do this on newspaper. That would be cool. All the handprints on different pages, you can outline them in different colors. It's up to you. Now there's idea number 1, Lockdown Art 2020. Okay, here's another idea. You can take some paint. You can put your family's hands in the paint and then you can carefully put them down on the paper. Start with the biggest person all the way down to the littlest person. If you've got a pet like a cat or a dog, you could even, if you ask mom and dad, try and dip their paw into some paint and add it in here. Okay, we've got Watson family. This is our Lockdown 2020 art to remember this time. Okay, and here's a different one. This one took the most time. This is kind of your art project today if you can make it. It's a salt dough plaque. Okay, Lockdown 2020, and I'm going to explain to you how I made this. You can see I've got it hanging. This could go hanging up in your kitchen to remember. Everybody's handprints are on there, and I'm going to tell you a bit about how I made this particular one, the salt dough lockdown souvenir. Are you ready? First, what you want to do is mix some flour and some salt. So you want about 2 cups of flour to 1 cup of salt. If you want a big one, you could do 4 cups of flour to 2 cups of salt, but I think you'll find that that's a bit much. So the recipe is 2 cups of flour, 1 cup of salt, mix that together, add 1 cup of water, mix it all up, place it on a floured surface and knead it. Shape it into the shape that you want with your hands. Then you want to get each family member to press down into the dough with their handprint so that you've got everyone in your house. You could even add in your pet. Then you take a toothpick or something else nice and sharp and you carefully ask mom or dad to help you maybe etch in Lockdown 2020. Don't forget to make the 2 holes at the top that you want to put your ribbon through. Now, if you've got some extra dough left off, you could always roll it out, use some fun cookie cutters to make some more shapes while you're putting it in. And if you want to turn them into necklaces or anything, just remember to make the hole in the top. A straw is actually the perfect thing to use, but if you don't have one, you can also use something like a toothpick or even a pencil just to shape out that little hole. Right, you put it in the oven at about 150 degrees for about 2 hours. You don't want it to go brown on the top, you just want it to slowly dry out and bake. Take it out the oven, let it cool down. Once it's cool, you can paint the background. And then you could either paint the hands different colors, one by one, letting them dry in between, or you could get everyone to do a handprint, color their hand a different color with paint, press it into the dough, and you'd have your family handprints. Finally, it's a good idea if you've got white glue to paint white glue all over the salt dough. Now it will look a bit funny, but remember it will dry clear, and that's a bit like glazing your salt dough creation. Add a ribbon, hang it up, and there you have it. Right, Lockdown 2020 salt dough souvenir. I hope you have lots of fun and have a lovely weekend.